How's it going, CrossFit Simsbury? We're doing a quick little video blog here, just to kind of give you guys some insight on how we actually create and build our coaches for CFS, all of our part-time coaches. It's quite a thorough process, in my opinion, compared to when I became a coach. It's definitely a little bit more professional. It's definitely a little bit more thorough. And I think it's going to help you guys kind of have some confidence in your coaches, confidence in us and how we build the program and how we get them from, shadowing courses or shadowing classes all the way up to actually having them coach solo. So on the screen, you'll see I have a few different documents open. The first one is the actual advanced theory course, and that's what ATC stands for. We built this from multiple different, coaching viewpoints and how to make coaches. I kind of just recreated it and built it into the program that you see here. This is basically like a living document. It's constantly being changed. It's constantly being updated. If we go through an ATC program with a group of coaches and we find that, we could have done something better or we could have prepared them more, we go in and we edit it and we change it and we make it better than it used to be. So starting off, we have our intro here, just kind of going through things quickly. This is a whopping 49 pages long, so it's pretty beefy. I'm not going to go through all of this. I'm kind of just going to run through it for you really quick. But, starting off, we have all these different phases and kind of how we build things and how things are built. Going through this whole thing, we go through the goals of the coaching program. We go through the values of CFS and what we're trying to accomplish. And so we'll just run through some of this stuff you'll find in the level one, but repetition can help build some more expertise. So them seeing this again actually, helps. So, we have 10 general physical skills. We have the sickness, wellness, fitness continuum, theoretical hierarchy of development. You'll see nutrition down there, very important. And just some general kind of notes and thoughts on how to coach and why we coach and the kind of theory behind it. We go through all of our different cues. So when we cue you guys up, we try to run through a few different things. Verbal is usually the simplest, get low, use your hips. We'll say these things to you while you're actually in class. We have visuals. So, if verbal doesn't work, we go to a visual kind of approach where we actually show you what we mean and how we want you to move. And then we have tactile, which is usually the more difficult. It's definitely a more hands-on approach where we'll actually use objects or we'll physically, we'll touch you and guide you to the correct motion. Surprisingly, that one, while the most difficult, won't be used as much simply because it's just not as needed as the other two. The 9 foundational movements of CrossFit. So, going through all these, we start with the air squat, we have the push-up, we have the front squat, we have all these different movements, and we want to make sure that they understand the basics of how things should be done, the setups, the executions, faults and corrections. We'll run through that because that's a beefy part of things. All right, almost there. We actually added in 5 more movements that are very common. Pull-ups, I believe thrusters in there. Yep, there they are. Again, it's beefy, it's thorough, and it really kind of builds everything. And then we get to the phases, and this is actually part of the phases document right here, starting at the top here. They go through multiple phases. So, there's goals included on this. It explains the process. It explains what we're looking for. Phase 1 is usually just kind of, shadowing coaches. As they shadow us, as they work with us, we'll give them cues and we'll kind of point things out to them that we notice. So I'll tell people how I approach members and how I tackle things, and kind of give them some insight. In the end, they're going to build their own kind of approach to things, which is good. Having 2 different kind of viewpoints from a coach can actually be helpful. While I might say, hey, do this to fix your air squat, that may not work for you. And then another coach might come over and say, hey, try this. And it's completely different. It's a completely different approach, and it helps you. Coaching is a very fluid kind of skill, and not everyone's the same in any way, shape, or form. Everyone reacts differently to different kinds of coaches and different kinds of approaches to the movement. So having a different insight and different viewpoint can actually be extremely helpful. So they run through this, and there is 15 hours of them just watching, learning, cheering people on, kind of getting their voice out there, and then explaining warm-ups. Phase 2, we get a little bit more aggressive. So we have them start providing scaling options for people. We have them start explaining the whole class. We have them run the class, all the while still being supervised by a coach, either myself or Rob, and teaching them and queuing them up to queue you up, or building up their kind of expertise. All right, and then phase 3, this is the final phase. It's called the final test. They actually have to do 10 classes run by themselves, again, still supervised by myself or Rob, and we actually have an evaluation where they have to meet certain standards in order to pass. They have to pass, sorry, actually I have to adjust this. We've made a change on this. They have to pass at least 7 classes, and then we sit there and we think that we think that they're going to be good for running solo, okay? And during the final evaluations, here's the actual evaluation form. They are all listed out here: the minimum coaching standards, class management, personal attention, making class fun. So if you've ever seen myself kind of off to the side, like sitting on a box or watching them and kind of taking notes, this is what we're using, and this is how we're building, the coaches. As I've done this more, I can honestly say I've become, I don't want to say more harsh, but more thorough in it. I found at the beginning that grading was difficult, simply because I didn't want to make them feel bad, and I still don't, but it's important that they meet the standards, and it's important that, when they get to being a solo coach, that we have the utmost faith in them that they're going to provide a good, solid class to everyone. So this is what they have to go through. They have to get at least a 75% on this. We have a total points and grading system here, and what to do based off of the points that they receive. So moving through again, phase 4 is for prep, course, and shadowing, which may not apply to everyone, but it's important that we still build them up in that category as well. So that is the full list of things for kind of the phases. Now we go into things such as a little more in-depth, how to coach. One big thing that we always say is never put your hands in your pocket. Your body language, the energy that you bring to class. We want you guys to have fun in class as well, and we want them to have fun and meet, again, a certain standard. Now we go through things such as, skills, drills, physiological adaptation, competition. You'll see all these things listed here and kind of how things work. This is a bit more in-depth. This is the foundations. If you guys ever did prep course, this is what we use. And then kind of how to run a class, things that will help build them as a coach, and how to time things. How much time do you spend in between warm up and workout? How much time do you give the class to get things set up, and so on and so forth. And this is just kind of the theories in many of the different, in the CrossFit world, different types of energy. Let's go back up here. Mechanics, consistency, and intensity. Just kind of, this is how CrossFit's built. We want you to move well, then we want you to move well consistently. We don't just want 1 out of every 10 air squats to look good. We want all the air squats to look good. And then we have intensity. Okay, and that's when you can bring mechanics and consistency together, and then also do it while moving quickly. Okay, because usually what happens is once you start adding weight, once you start moving faster, mechanics and consistency break down, and we want people to know that that's not what we're aiming for. We want all 3 to come together in one nice uniform athlete. Different types of training, how it affects you. We go through a movement checklist. Are they competent in all of these things? Can they explain ring rows? Can they explain toes to bar? Can they explain muscle ups? Do they understand the basics behind these things? And can they put that into action and help you guys improve in that? And then we just get to the glossary terms. So this is the end of it. Kind of a long blog here, but I really do appreciate you guys tuning in and listening. Hopefully, again, the whole point of this is to kind of give you confidence in how we vet our coaches, and that we're not just kind of picking people that just want to try coaching. We want them to be great at it, and we want them to be able to provide you guys with a wonderful experience while you're at CrossFit. Hope to see you guys all soon. Have a wonderful day, and I'll talk to you later.